California.
There's not the festival.
No, that's where the festival is. But he was living in Tijuana, crossed the border a lot. Now, while he lived in Tijuana, he worked as what's called, what do they call them? Polero, which is somebody who helps people get across the border.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay. They have another name from, it's like a jackal or something. I always forget what they're called. But he helped people cross illegally into the United States. So he was obviously doing it a little bit himself.
Yeah.
So he gets into this bar brawl, turns into a gunfight. He gets shot, but he kills the other dude. While he's in jail, learns all this, blah, blah, blah. Later on in his career, as he's doing really well, he goes back to his hometown to do a gig. Plays the gig, all good. Hops in his car to drive home. Driving home, gets pulled over at a routine traffic stop. A couple of men dressed as police with police ID, all this kind of stuff. Take him out of the car, going through all his identification, all this kind of shit. Disappears. His body is found a couple of days later. He's bound, has a bag over his head, and has been shot twice in the back of the head.
Shit.
Found in a ditch. Jesus. So to this day, they never found out who done it. There's no real motive for it because he was exactly. There's no motive, but the general assumption is it was another cartel that weren't happy that he was popularizing other cartels with his music because he was really, really, really big. Like
sounds
he
like
was
the Latino story of Biggie and Tupac.
It's a little bit. It's kind of got that. Now, what's mad is that since he's died, there's been at least 12 other big name narco corrido singers murdered in Mexico. Like that was 1992. He was killed.
Jesus.
So like it's a dangerous job to be getting in. Actually, I believe that like Vice have actually done a couple of these short documentaries.
Of course they did.
I know they're mad for it. But they've done a couple of little documentaries following around some of these narco corrido guys. They followed one where there was a guy who had a little home set up in his house.
A home set up in his gaff?
Sorry.
That is mental.
My brain went off on something else while I was saying that.
I often find that is actually a good place to set up a home.
You reckon? Yeah. Not like in the garden.
I think you meant studio.
But he set up a studio in his house and he used to go out, I think it was like East LA or something like that, and he'd go out and he'd meet all the local Latino gangbangers and he'd get all their names and what they've done and he'd bring it home and write a song for them and burn it onto CD and sell it to them for a couple of grand. So like it's alive and well still, the narco corrido, and it's also it's kind of it's almost gotten bigger but a lot more underground. Like the gangs aren't kind of popularizing them; they're keeping them for themselves.
War on bangers.
The war on bangers. But that's Chileno Sanchez, a really good one.
That is.
It's the fact that 12 other narco corrido singers.
This is a thing now.
Like it's a thing now to go after them. And so there's been a couple of them that won Grammys and stuff like that as well. They've been big enough.
Grammys?
Grammys, yeah.
Mexican Grammys?
No, Grammys.
Grammys?
Yeah, not Gramaleros. Like actual Grammys. Right, who's your next one?
My next one is Me Zapata from the Gits. This is just an awful story.
I refrained from looking this one up because I want to hear it properly.
You really won't get it from me. I'm terrible at this. Whenever I get serious, I get all panicking. I just rush through it.
But what if her daughter comes after me?
Like it's just. So she was coming back from a gig in 1993 in Seattle, and she was raped, beaten, and murdered. And no one had absolutely any idea.
The grimmest.
Who did it? It really, really fucking grim. She was found and identified immediately by the medical examiner, who was a fan of the Gits. Went, I know who that is. Like. So that's instantly who they know who it was. They had absolutely no idea who it was. So the police had absolutely zero, just nothing on it at all.
Just found her body.
Yeah.
In shite.
That's it. Yeah. So that's what it is. And so what the Seattle music community did was brilliant, right? Some of its most famous people like Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and all helped raise, I think they raised 70 grand for a private investigator.
All right.
To find out just anything. Like
was it Courtney Love?
Jesus. Apparently, no.
All right.
She wasn't quite killing people at that stage.
Okay.
Not that she ever killed anybody.
No.
So, unfortunately, I think 3 years, that got 3 years of an investigation going, and after 3 years, the funds completely dried up. They'd hired an investigator called Lee Heron, and they continued on anyway, even when the funds dried up.
Really?
They wanted to know.
They had to know, yeah.
Have to know.
So you put years into something, you want to see it through, don't you?
Absolutely. I'd say if you're a private investigator, a lot of them are just going out for the money. When that money's gone, yeah, whatever. But some of them are like, you can get into your head. Like, you've done 3 years of work.
That's what True Detective was about. Like,
yeah,
it's fucking has to be done.
It's just it was just that. Yeah.
You're out of control, Murphy.
This is it. So
they went full loose cannon.
They did, yeah, and still absolutely nothing. They got no closer than they were the day. So 10 years after the murder, DNA pings.
Really?
A DNA ping. They took all the DNA and kept it on foot. Because the DNA is phenomenal like that.
Yeah.
A guy called Jesus Mezquia. Mezquia. Who had a history of violence against women. In fact, 6 of his ex-girlfriends had all gone to the police and reported him for battery and stuff like that. So unfortunately, it took a death and 10 years on DNA to put someone like that away. I think they worked out that he dragged her into a car and did everything like that in a car. He was convicted in 2004, initially sentenced to 37 years, but he appealed.
Really?
So it was reduced to 36 years. Stinger. Fuck you scumbag.
And all the time you're waiting to have your day in court as well, so you're going to serve more than that.
Yeah, exactly. So he's been in prison since 2003.
He's a bit to go.
I don't think he's ever going to...
Well, it depends on what age he was when he was put in.
Yeah, I hope he does.
Hopefully.
Miserably. The aftermath of the murder, friends and people in the community set up a group called Home Alive, which is sort of... It started as benefit concerts. They released lots of benefit concerts and released lots of albums, including Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Heart, Presidents of the United States.
Yeah.
And also Joan Jett joined the remaining members of the Gits to do a live album called Evil Stig. It was trying to send a real horrible feeling through the whole Seattle community. So they all kind of banded together. And it sort of brought a little bit more into light about the safety of women in the city, which, do you know what, sort of reminds me of something I heard recently. I was watching Dave Chappelle. I know he's not very popular right now because of things he's been saying. But you remember he was talking about violence against women and stuff like that, and how he'll never understand what that's like to be a woman. But he said, remember the story that he had a backpack with 10 grand in it where he's bringing it on the subway? That's
right, yeah.
And he was like, that's the closest he'll ever get to realising having something that you think that everyone could possibly want on a dark subway or get going home like that. And he said he was terrified. And that must be like all the time for someone with a vagina. I think this was his words. Do you know what I mean? That's just this must be fucking horrible. And that kind of brought a lot of attention to, I mean, the Seattle scene anyway. That's
like that tend to rock communities to their core. When it's a person that's known to a lot of people. It's as terrible as it sounds. It's one thing for like Joe Soap or Jane Soap.
I know what you mean. No, I know what you're...
be killed, but somebody who is maybe a public figure within a particular circle, you know what I mean?
When the effect is bigger.
Yeah. Like their personality outweighs their actual person, if you get me.
And she is used as a sort of feminist icon now in the music industry with women and stuff like that. Riot Girl and stuff like that. But it is an absolutely horrific story. And I hope your man has an absolute miserable
hope he rots in fucking hell.
Yeah, who's your next one?
Oh, are you ready?
Yeah.
This one fucking hurt me, lads.
Hurt
me. The research involved in this is going back to school. Now, I wasn't a big fan of history in school. I like it now.
Yeah.
But back then...
You have to be a bit older. You can't be forced history.
It was just maths. That's what you remember, like doing history in school, and from 1304 to 1304 and a half.
Well, like I've that numerical dyslexia, so
me too.
Maths was do you have that a bit of that as well?
Yeah, if I see those numbers start getting tired. Now.
I can't even if someone rattles off a phone number in my head, that's already
A B C D E F G. Won't you come?
Purple,
car, exactly. Yeah, garbage.
Lizard.
Yeah, I can't do them. I'm the same. You know, like the credits on a film are
we the same person?
We might be.
We need to disagree with more stuff, by the way. We can't though.
No,
love,
let's not do that.
We love good shit.
You know, when like the credits of a movie are rolling at the end of it, I start falling asleep. There's something about the movement of words. Yeah. I've like characters on the screen.
So if I take up this page and start moving like that, back. Look, he's gonna sleep, lads.
Right. So
serious business now.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Okay, so it's Anne Boleyn.
You're going back,
lads.
You're going back a bit.
She's born in 1501. Right. Now, Anne Boleyn is famous because she's King Henry VIII's second wife. She is, in theory, the reason that Rome fucking had nothing to do with England anymore. Why England left the Holy Roman fucking Catholic Church and started the Church of England.
Right.
So, King Henry VIII gets married.
Big ceremony.
Big ceremony. Fucking here we go. The new fucking Queen of England is in place. Anne Boleyn.
She's a looker, ladies and gentlemen.
Anne Boleyn is a maid of honour at this wedding, right?
He's already looking. He's already looking over his shoulder.
Now,
what are you looking at over there?
Exactly.
When the priest said, "Does anyone have any reason that these two should be married?" He puts up his hand, goes, and just points out
that one.
Yeah,
that one. Now, apparently, okay, the whole thing is kind of complicated, but it's reasonably straightforward by the end of it. So bear with me.
Right.
So Anne is born in England, but she's sent off to be educated in the Netherlands and France. She's called back to England because she's going to get married to her Irish cousin, right?
You don't want to do that.
While she's over, she because she's of royal blood or whatever, she is invited.
There's a band who will never appear on this podcast.
Exactly.
I'm only joking. They're all right. They're all right.
She is invited to be the maid of honour at Henry VIII's wedding. Okay? So...
Oh my God, it's haunted. Do you hear that falling over?
Henry... I don't know what that was.
Oh, it's getting creepy.
I'm afraid.
That was Anne Boleyn.
I have the afearedness in me. So, Henry's not happy. And he wants his marriage annulled. And he wants to marry Anne.
Instantly?
I think it's maybe 2 years into it.
Right.
So he tries to get like the Archbishop of Canterbury or whatever the fuck it is to annul his marriage. It can't be done. So instead, he decides...
He's the dog's bollocks of England.
Yeah, but they're still under the fucking Roman Church. So he decides, fuck them then, we'll just start our own church.
Oh, this is how it starts,
This is how it starts. Right?
Over a lady.
Exactly. So eventually he ends up being able to get his annulment. And off he goes and he marries Anne. Now, apparently, he offered Anne the opportunity to become his like concubine, be his bit on the side. She was having none of it. She's too good for it. It's like, no, it's fucking whole thing or nothing.
Yeah.
Now, Anne, by all accounts, was mad into music. Right, played the lute, collected original sheet music from famous composers of the era.
That's what we'd do if we were back then.
Pretty much, there's been nothing else to do.
Like little hipsters.
So there are a couple of pieces of music that are thought to have been written by her. Right. Now, the most famous one is the one I picked. It's called "O Death, Rock Me Asleep." Now, I believe this started life as a poem, and the legend has it that this was written while she awaited her death. Now, she was put to death by King Henry because she couldn't bear him a son. I think she had a daughter and a couple of miscarriages, but she just wasn't producing the goods.
Sounded like she was fucking trying, though.
She was pumping them out, yeah. But Henry was obsessed with having a fucking male heir, and she couldn't provide it. So...
It's all gone Game of Thrones.
It's all gone very Games of Thronesy. Games of Thronesies.
Games of Thrones.
So, Henry turns around to his mate, but also Anne's.
Henry's portrait of a serial bastard.
Exactly. Serial arsehole. King Henry turns around to her besto, who's a good besto of his. Strangely enough, his name is Thomas Cromwell.
There's a real bastard.
Yeah. He's the great something grandfather, uncle of Oliver Cromwell.
Oh, if you had killed him instead,
yeah.
We'd all be living in mansions. Or else just a house.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it wouldn't have worked.
A full country. Yeah. But like, so he related to Oliver Cromwell, one of his forebearers. So he turns around to him.
If we could do an Irish Terminator, I'd go back and get him.
Black 47, him. Famine Rambo, him. So what happens is Henry turns around to Thomas Cromwell and he says, listen, we have to sort this out. She's not producing the goods and I'm already after having fucking one wife, right? So we have to figure something out. So Cromwell says, you look after me now and I'll look after you. Fucking, let's get this sorted. So they come up with this.
They wanked each other off.
It's a bit of relief. They come up with this absolute mad plan where her entire family are like, they're chased down, they're accused of incest, they're accused of treachery. Her herself is done for treason and witchcraft, right? And she's put to death. So she's put to death in 1536. She was the Queen of England for 3 years, and that was it. She's put to death by beheading.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
All right. Now, what's weird, it gets even fucking madder, is that because she was nobility, they weren't allowed to use the axe. Okay?
That was used on
no,
regular Joe soaps.
They couldn't use the court's kind of hangman or executioner, and they couldn't use the fucking axe. So they had to come up with a plan. So they sent to France for this